Hi, everyone. Okay, great. So this is the first of our speaker talent search series and playlists that will be going on as we bring tremendous speakers that we selected from the speaker talent search event that happens 4 times a year. And we will leave notes so in case you ever decide to want to be on the speaker talent search and get discovered. So today I have Tracie Root. And okay, so it's all about change your mindset and how to be bold. And Tracie, I love you. Glad to see you at the show. Bring it on, girl.
Hi, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm
This
good.
is
I'm
so
good. I'm
great.
good.
Excited.
Okay, so Tracie, okay, again, you're all about being bold, living bold, how to be bold, and it is changing your mindset. Lean into that. Tell us who and what you do in your community and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Well, I wasn't always bold like on the inside. In fact, I went to a conference not long ago, a couple years ago, where at the end of the week-long conference, we were given a little sticker and a Sharpie, and we were told, how are you going to be different once we're done? Not what are you going to do differently? What actions are you going to take? Like that's all typical after a conference, right? What did you learn? What are you going to do? But this was, how are you going to be different? And I took my sticker and I took my Sharpie and I wrote the word bold and I stuck it to my chest. And everyone was really surprised because I'm 6 feet tall. You can't tell that from here, but I'm 6 feet tall. And at the time, my hair was purple, all one color purple. And everyone said, what do you mean you want to be bold? Look at you, right? Look at how you show up. You're a speaker, you're a coach, you're building a community. How do you want to be bold? And I said, from a lifetime of learning how to act to fit in, from a lifetime as a girl and a woman going into corporate America, figuring out how to show up at work in order to be successful, I was always putting on a show. I am a performer. I'm a former dancer, musician, all those kinds of things. And so I was always very comfortable in putting on a show. And I even used to say that when I was working in corporate, this is like the corporate version of me versus the real me. And I said, I can act bold, I can look bold, but what I need is to decide to be bold from the inside out and know it from inside that the things that I'm doing are brave, that are outside my comfort zone and are going to propel me forward as a result. And so that's what I meant by being bold. So yeah, I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. I've been doing this for 10 years. And just a few years ago was when I decided that, okay, enough of this pussyfooting around. I need to be more bold and I need to help women realize that they don't have to conform to be successful, that they can be bold in whatever that means for them and be successful, whatever that means for them. So that's what being bold is all about.
So being bold, right? And so I'm hearing you're a promoter. So for you, the leaning into that can be a little bit easier because that's your operating system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that shift to being bold,
Mm-hmm.
how when you talk to your clients, even when it was you, what changes did you shift in your mindset to stand in that boldness, that beautifulness, that authentic you?
Yeah. Well, when I teach it now, I actually made it a really nice kind of neat framework to be able to teach, which is helpful because it reminds me of all of the points that I want to try and make. But really what it comes down to is being willing to kind of embody the things that you actually want out of life. And because we are so much more easily inclined to do what we think is acceptable out in the world, right? To do what we think we have to do in order to live our lives, serve our family, pay our rent, whatever the case may be. And really, we're going to serve all of that so much better if we do the things that are inside us, setting us on fire. But we're so willing, most of us are so willing to just let that sit there and stew without letting it come to the surface and actually happen in our lives. So it starts with, really allowing yourself to imagine that big vision. I was not a dreamer. My first husband, who sadly I lost to cancer, 12 years ago now. He was always the dreamer and I was the doer. And being, kind of, we used to say type A personality. I guess do they still even use that terminology? I don't know. But I was very, go to college, get a good job, climb the corporate ladder, do the. And he was always like dreaming of the farm we were going to have and this business that we were going to start and all these other things. And he was going to be the stay-at-home dad and I was going to be the corporate climber and we were going to have a great time. So when he passed away, I had to figure out how to be both. I had to figure that out for myself so that the dreams that he and I had together didn't die. It's okay that they changed, but that they didn't just vanish into nothing. That the kids that we had, I still have, that they got that beauty of dreaming and doing combined when they only had one parent left. And the belief that I could learn how to imagine my own dreams and actually go after them is the number one first tenet of How to Be Bold, is to really imagine what you want and be able to own that. And to know that if you really want it, you can go after it. You don't have to hold yourself back just because you think that people will have judgment around it, or that you can't because you have these other responsibilities. The dreams that you have, they're in you for a reason, and you can absolutely have them if that's what you want.
So I'm hearing a few things, and oh my goodness, even all these years later, still my condolences about
it. Actually was the anniversary just a few days ago. Yeah. 12 years. It's hard to imagine. It feels like a lifetime ago because so much has happened since then. And the kids were 1.5 and 4, and now they're teenagers. One's finishing 7th grade and the other is going to be a junior. It's hard to imagine, hard to believe that it's been so long. But then you look at everything that's happened and it's like, of course, it's been a long time because so much has happened and so much has evolved over time.
So what I'm hearing you say, so first of all, it all starts with vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
To truly allowing that, getting from your head to your heart.
Yep.
And really discovering, or not discovering, just finally listening,
yeah. Allowing it to become.
Yes. And the other thing I think is interesting now too, by the way, you're promoting controller after now that you're opened up a little bit more, which is amazing.
Oh, we're not done yet.
So with that though, the shift too is a shift from, what's a shift in being confident and courageous and vulnerable and open and authentic. Authentic, I keep coming through as you're being bold, see those two aligning. But the other is the shift to the being part as opposed to the doing.
Right. Well, and the thing is that you can't really have one without the other, because you could be something, but if you don't do something with that, then it's going to kind of wither away. Like action is the end result of all of this dreaming, right? So what I do with Bold is I actually took it and made, since I grew up and lived and worked in Silicon Valley, I made it an acronym, of course. And so Bold, basically having 4 steps. The first one that we've just been talking about is B for build your vision, right? So building your vision includes not only recognizing that you have one and allowing it to surface and allowing yourself to acknowledge what that is, but building the path to get there, which means setting really crystal clear goals related to that vision, related to that dream, crystal clear goals, which there may be 40 goals to get to the dream, or maybe there's 4, or maybe the vision is maybe it's just one goal, but you have to be able to know how to set a really clear goal and figure out where you are related to that goal, and then create the path to get there. So building the structure to get to that vision, that's all part of building the vision. It's not just imagining what's possible, but putting some concrete parameters around how to get there and then getting started, right? So let's build your vision. O is actually my very favorite one because O is all about owning your choices, right? We need to own where we are, the things that we know and we don't know, how to ask for help, and how to receive help, which was the biggest learning experience that I needed, especially after the loss of my husband. I still didn't know. At that point, I was not this person. I did not ask for help. I was very like, I don't need any help. I'll just do it all myself. In fact, there was a woman at our church post funeral who came to me and said, I'm starting a catering company and I have all this leftover food. I would love to gift you some of this stuff because I don't know what to do with all of it. And would you be interested in taking some of this on? And I, being the I don't need any help, totally blocked person that I was, said, no, I don't need any help. Which is totally false. I was, in grief with 2 preschoolers, working full time. Of course I needed help and I did not know how to accept it. And that was a story, obviously now, what did I just say, 12 years ago, that I still am telling because it was so pivotal for me in recognizing how blocked I was from receiving help. And then a couple of years later, I found coaching and I received coaching and learned about the reciprocal nature of humans, which was so great. So I could finally learn how to receive help and also understand the value of the help that I was giving to others. So owning your choices, owning where you are, the choices that you make, and what you can and can't do for yourself so that you can thrive in your actions and ask for help and receive that help for the things that you can't do for yourself. Huge transformation.
With the piece of asking for help, it takes a tremendous amount of vulnerability, and that's courage to do that. So it really takes that much more being brave and strong to be open and vulnerable.
It's funny that, especially back in the day, people used to always say, oh, you're so brave. Oh, you're so straight. It's a really common response to people surviving after a heavy loss. You're so brave. You're so strong. Don't know how you do it. Like all those kinds of things. And inside the words spin to like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just making it happen. Right. So it's a very interesting transformation to go through that process and understand that ultimately it was true, but I couldn't see it because I was just in survival mode.
And that's giving yourself the grace and space to acknowledge that.
It takes a minute, but yes, ultimately getting there is so great. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about the L. What's the L?
Okay, so the L is kind of, as we move along the path, the L stands for leverage your learning, right? So we, as coaches and speakers and entrepreneurs, we love to go to conferences and listen to people's workshops and listen to podcasts and go to talks. And then what? Right? We listen to all this stuff, we learn all this stuff, and then what? We have to leverage the things that we're learning so that we use them on that action path as we make those choices on the path to that vision that we've built, right? So it's kind of takes with B being that big umbrella, O is like, okay, I'm taking ownership. L is like, okay, I'm taking the things that I'm learning and I'm going to put them into my action plan. Because if we don't learn as we go, then and do something with that, then all of that time spent learning is not useful. And the other part of that is knowing that we need to learn from our own mistakes, This is where perfectionism or the fight against perfectionism comes in, because many of us are recovering perfectionists. That's definitely how I identify myself. And which means that I still have those tendencies buried in there, but I know intellectually that that's not possible, because perfection is literally not possible. So why do we keep trying for it? So we have to remember that it's okay if we make mistakes, that along that path, that if we make a mistake, that's an opportunity to learn. And I know that that can sound a little bit trite, but it's so 100% true that we have to take any little stumble, anything that doesn't turn out the way we think it's going to turn out, and learn from it so that we can do things differently the next time.
Well, you're saying two things here, because in actuality, when you're saying that I'm going to hold out for perfection, it's a story, and it's a story that will keep you from moving forward, right? It never gets so done is better than perfect.
Right.
And then the whole standing in the failing forward is part of life, the entrepreneur, parent, right? And within that, then there's that freedom of just allowing and surrendering.
Right. So when we're learning, whether we're learning from external sources or we're learning from our own actions and things not turning out the way we thought they were supposed to or going to, those are all opportunities for learning. And we need to recognize that that's what that is, that it's all learning. And so that we can change our path or make a different choice or take a new direction as we go forward.
So now with all this change, right, shifting from Silicon Valley, being the main breadwinner, to then your life upside down, and two babies. And then the shift in yourself to surrendering and allowing yourself to be open and accepting support. The piece here is then where now I know about the gathering community, right? And with people and what you do and how do you serve them and what is that all about?
Right. Well, really quick, let me just touch on D, because we didn't get there.
You got D. Okay, you can't forget D. You're right.
You can't forget D, because that's the thing, is we've got this like vision that we've built. We're owning our own choices and we're learning as we go. But with D, we have to remember that we're continuing to develop ourselves, and that development and that growth is what allows us to take action. So D stands both for develop yourself and for do. It's plain and simple. Just do.
And how can we leave out D?
We can't. That's why I stopped. We've got to, because ultimately, like we said in the beginning, that you can look bold, you can act bold, but if you're not taking bold action, if you're not living it from the inside, then nothing's going to happen. You're just going to still be sitting there imagining what's possible without actually going after it. So you've got to have the D.
I love that, because you'll remember it.
Yeah. And actually I have the ebook that like summarizes all these things and a few other notes and stuff that we can make sure that everyone has options to.
Okay, great. So you're telling me we have a free gift for the audience? For
sure. Yes. Okay. I have a gift. Yeah. And I don't know if I've already given you that. I'll make sure that I give you that. But basically it's my ebook about how to be bold in your business. And it summarizes and talks a little bit more about all of these 4 steps, these BOL and D, and so that people can take it, you can print it out, you can imagine what it is for you that you need to focus on, because you can't focus on everything. Pick one, right? Maybe it's getting into action. Maybe it's D. Maybe it's realizing that you don't have a clear goal. You just have a dream and you need to actually build that vision. So maybe it's B, right? So whatever works for you, whatever is most important for you to be able to continue to move on your path toward your vision, pick one and like scribble all over it and make notes and imagine what you need to do so that you can continue to move forward.
And even with the different chapters on the journey, right, that it could flip again and you could start back at B.
100%. Yes.
Okay. So,
and every time you have a new goal, every time you have something new, or if you reach a goal, you've got to set that next one, because otherwise you'll just kind of backslide if you're not continuing to set that next. That's when I'm doing workshops and stuff. That's my primary thing is let's do goal setting. Let's get really clear. Let's make sure that you have a plan and a time frame and all that kind of stuff so that so that once you get closer to that goal, you don't slow yourself down. You don't go, oh, it's not that important anymore. It's as entrepreneurs, it's really important to have that consistent accountability and that consistent kind of reminder that why you started and what you're doing it all for. It's crucial.
And I was about to say that word accountability. I'm feeling that through what you're saying, that when people work with you, accountability is one of the things you bring forward for them and with them.
Yeah, I mean, my goal is for them to be accountable to themselves, because really we need to have that self motivation and that intrinsic motivation. But, it's also important to be connected to other people. Humans are not designed to be solo. We started off as cavemen living together in that cave, right? And we're designed to help each other. That's where that whole help, receiving and giving help comes from, is that we're a communal species. So even though we are, by ourselves in our offices on our computers now, that's kind of part of that evolution of humans that has started to separate us from others. And especially with the pandemic, it's been a real challenge. And I think everyone knows the social construct, like, collapse in a lot of ways that's happened. It's really important to stay connected to people, because that is what helps us to thrive. We are designed to be connected to people. And that's why, moving into talking about the Gather community, that's why the Gather community got created. When pre-pandemic, I actually opened an event space, and that space was called Gather. We opened in October of 2019. And 5 months later, we had to shut the doors and turn off the lights and wait, because we thought it was just going to be a few weeks, right?
Yeah, we all did.
We all thought it was just going to be a few weeks. And I kind of told myself at the time, because we were super busy, lots of people wanting to do activities in our space, it's for workshops and meetings and all kinds of different events.
I love that.
And so I was looking forward to the break, because we were so busy. I needed a little breath. Little did we know that we were actually not only going to be able to take a breath, but I needed to come up with a whole new way to keep people connected. We thought the reason behind it was to bring people.
Hold on a second. We'll cut this out. My battery's not. I'm not connected. That would be a problem. Hold on.
Yes.
There we go. And it's not great about editing. It's just not plugged. It's just, there we go. So there it is. It's just not. Okay, we'll cut that out. Cool beans. So you were saying, hold on, that break, that you were looking for a break, and go ahead, resume.
Okay. So we opened in October of 2019, and it was a really great time. We had tons of attention. I was connecting with all kinds of people in our community so that we could bring people together in person. We all thought that was what we needed. We need more in-person interaction. Little did we know, 5 months later, we were going to need to shut the doors and turn off the lights and wait for what we thought was just going to be a few weeks. And I was really actually kind of grateful for the break, because we were so busy. I needed to take a breath. But as that continued on, and we realized that we weren't going back in person anytime soon, we needed to figure out, okay, like, what is the real purpose? The purpose was not ultimately to bring people together in person. The purpose was to bring people together, period.
Gather.
Right? To gather.
Yeah.
So when we didn't have the opportunity to do that in person, and we couldn't see the future of when that was going to be happening again, was it going to be 6 months? Was it going to be, we didn't know, right? We didn't know anything in like May of 2020, right? So, when we had the in-person space, people would rent the room, and I would support them with promotion, with getting the word out about what they were doing. If it was a public event, we would do advertising. We'd put it on our website. We put it on our newsletters. We put it on social media. Come and check out this event that's happening. And I leveraged my community and my network and tried to help them meet new people as a result of using the space. So we moved that. Instead of running the space, we created a membership. And so we took the membership opportunity and opened it up to all across the country because we were no longer bound by a geography. And now we have members actually across the country and even in Canada. And we have audience all around the world for those members to be able to promote what they're doing, to be able to connect people wherever they may be online with these amazing entrepreneurs that are our members and with each other. So it's a combination of networking, promotion activities, community, masterminding, like all of the things that you think of when you bring entrepreneurs together. We're doing all of those things in various ways for our members and for our community.
Okay, so I love that. So there is, first of all, the ebook will be there, right? So we can start being bold,
Yes.
and living bold. And then once that they're on there, that they can also find out about bringing the beingness together with others in the gathering community.
Absolutely.
And then find out how to work with you. Okay, so I will have the link, but give us the website, give us the,
the way to reach all of those things
exactly.
is just to go to my links page, which is tracieroot.com/links. And the
Okay.
ebook link is there. The link to join our Gather community on Facebook is there. To opt into our newsletter is there. I have, if I have upcoming workshops or opportunities to work with me, I don't have any workshops today, but by the time this actually comes out, maybe I do. I also work with women one-on-one to help them with, these pieces, right? Creating that vision, building those goals, and moving them forward to, what they envision for their future. So yeah, all of that's available on that one page.
Okay,
It's a great starting point.
I'm so excited. So this is the first in the Speaker Talent series. So I love that we kick it off with you and being bold. Everybody, Tracie Root, Gathering Community, and tracieroot.com. All right.
Yep.
Glad to have you here, and let's see you again soon.
Yes, absolutely. I'm an insta yes.
Mwah. Love the hair. Bye, my friends.